A woman is talking on the phone when a little girl comes up behind her. The little girl then ties a red thread to the woman's pants. The woman continues talking on the phone without realizing anything. Meanwhile, a man is talking on the phone when another little girl comes up behind him. She then ties a red film to the man's pants. He ends up not noticing anything and the little girl leaves. The two little girls then go behind a tree, watching the two. When the woman hangs up the phone and tries to leave, she notices that her pants were tied. She then gets curious about that and goes after the thread to see where it ends. The man also turns off his phone and realizes that his pants were also tied. The two then walk to where the end of the red thread ends. Suddenly, the two then bump into each other. The man apologizes to the woman and says he didn't mean to do that. The woman says that she just got that cake and calls him clumsy. The man says he hadn't seen the woman. He was just following the red thread, trying to see where it ended. The woman then said that was fine and said she was distracted on the phone. At that moment, the two little girls arrive at the scene. The woman says it was an accident and the little girl says the man ruined her mother's birthday cake. The man apologizes and says it was an accident, that he didn't do it on purpose. The other little girl then congratulates her teacher and the woman thanks her. He says that, as a way of redeeming himself, he could pay for the cake. The woman said that it was not necessary here, as she was also distracted on her cell phone. The man then says that he could at least clean it up. The woman then stops him, says that he didn't need to touch her and that everything was fine. The man then apologizes once more and says he was on his way. So, he starts walking, but ends up pulling the red thread that was attached to the woman again. He then apologizes and says he had forgotten the wire. Later, the man comes to his car and tells his daughter to get in. The daughter then asks why he ruined her teacher's cake. He then says he didn't mean to do that. The little girl asks if her father shouldn't have given her another cake and the man says that his daughter was right, but that when he offered her another cake, the woman said she didn't want it. The little girl then asks if her father would leave things like that and says that he should sort things out with the woman. The man says he had tried, but the woman didn't want his help. He then tells his daughter to get in the car. The man then says that his daughter was right and that he should try to work things out with the woman one more time. Later the woman opens the door and the man was there. He then greets her and says he was there to deliver another cake for her. The woman then said that he didn't need to do that, but the man said that he insisted, since it was the woman's birthday, she should get a cake. The woman then asks if the man wanted to come into her house, but the little girl soon interrupts her and calls the other little girl to come in. The man then asks permission to enter the woman's house. He hands the woman a cake and flowers and says it was a gift. The woman thanks her and the man wishes her a happy birthday. The woman then tells the man to come in. She then tells the man to make himself comfortable. She then said that she was going to make some coffee, but at that moment she heard a loud noise. She soon worries about her daughter and goes after her and the man soon goes after her. Tom's wife's daughter was sitting on the floor. The woman then asks what had happened and the daughter said that she had fallen and hurt her knee. The man asks the little girl to calm down and says he wanted to see what happened. He then asks where it was hurting and the woman tells her daughter to take it easy. They then decide to put the little girl down on the couch. The woman tells her daughter to take it easy and says she would go get some ice. The man tells the little girl to take it easy, because her mother was already coming with ice. He then said he would tell the little girl a story. He asks if she liked history, and she says yes. He then begins to tell the story of a princess named Lily. He says that the princess was running through his palace and ended up falling. The little girl then says she had a question for the man. He then asked, what did the little girl want to know? She asks if the man could be her new father. Hearing this, the woman becomes concerned and soon takes the ice to her daughter. She then puts the ice on her daughter's leg. The man then said she needed to squeeze a little more and put his hand over the woman's hand. At that moment, the little girl gets up and says that her knee was already good. She then calls another little girl so they can go play. This leaves the two without understanding anything. Later, the two are sitting at the table when the man asks what happened to the woman's husband. The woman says that the truth was that her husband had abandoned his family. The man said that it was very sad, but that he knew what was going to happen because his wife had also abandoned his family. The woman then said that she was grateful to have such a wonderful daughter. The man then says that he was watching the woman. He says that what little he had seen of her, she seemed like a wonderful person. He then tries to hold the woman's hand, but backs away. He apologizes for that. The woman said he didn't need to apologize, as since her husband had left her, she hadn't been around anyone else. Meanwhile, the two little girls were away watching. They then celebrate, because their plan was working. The woman then says that they can get to know each other better little by little and that he seemed like a good person. The man then said that was a great idea. The two little girls then come up to the two and celebrate that they would now be a big family. Later, everyone was singing happy birthday to the woman.